National Arts has been made possible by a grant from Low Real Estate Group at Path Realty, proudly serving the Shepherdstown community and West Virginia for nearly a half-century, providing commercial, leasing, rentals, marketing, and consulting. Our goals are to exceed your expectations. Hi, I'm Mike Baker, and welcome to National Arts. Last holiday season, history was made. With Ford's Theater shuttered due to COVID-19 and every major theatrical production of A Christmas Carol succumbing to the litany of CDC restrictions, National Arts and the Little Theater of Alexandria negotiated the treacherous waters of COVID-19 to create a theatrical and television first. In combining rear projections, animation, TV green screen technology, live theater elements, all the while social distancing each of our actors, we were able to bring this holiday classic to life. Our Christmas Carol was not to suffer the same fate as Broadway and every other professional and amateur theater in the country. We persevered, and with creativity and ingenuity, we created a television first. What we were able to achieve during the COVID-19 lockdown was shared with television audiences this year. It was a testament to what Charles Dickens once called the simplest of measures overcoming the most profound adversities. And now, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty winds made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago.
I penned my A Christmas Carol as a new gospel. It has become a sacred ritual for many. It addresses the atrocities of child labor in our United Kingdom. Our cottage industry of manufacturing has turned dark and sinister. The workers are commodities, humans mere cogs. I became overwhelmed as I wrote my little ghost story. I laughed and wept, and then wept again. A year to now, I have regaled many with public readings of my tale. This night is my first here in America. The gentleman in my story represents the many good deeds fostered in England after my book first appeared. So this evening, with your permission, I shall portray him. I shall also narrate with particular flourish much of what we see this night. Let me begin. It is Christmas Eve, and through the snow-decked streets Scrooge picks his way, clutching his flesh to his bones, pinching his heart so that there can be no room for kindness. His hands are constantly in motion, exercising his greed, lending warmth to his fingertips as he wrings out the last farthing from a debtor, hoarding it in the cold vaults of his soul.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, bah humbug, Haberdasher. 20 shillings. Just a farthing, Haberdasher?
But it's all I have.
You make sure you have all the more on the morrow.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge. God bless you, Mr. Scrooge. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Baker, 14 shillings.
Oh, but Mr. Scrooge, it is Christmastide.
What is Christmastide to you but a time for paying bills with no money? A time for balancing your books against a round dozen of months and having every item in them present dead against you. Now, if I can work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding. He should.
Night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
Scrooge lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner, Jacob Marley. The winding chambers occupied an old house which played hide and seek with other houses and never found its way out. But the fog and frost so hung over the house that it seemed as if the bleak and cold weather sat in mournful meditation upon the stoop. Having taken his melancholy dinner at his melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers, Scrooge beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book. The days adding and subtracting from civilization all that had been produced by the poor weighed upon Scrooge. Those in his employ and those seeking alms were an endless reminder of this. It was these enumerations that brought a weariness to Scrooge's brow and lured him into a torpid state of restless sleep. Sleep well, Ebenezer, sleep well. Now, you don't know me, Mr. Scrooge, but I'm here to
Nor
ask...
do I care to. Good afternoon.
Sir, at this festive time of the year, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute who suffer greatly at this time. Many thousands are without common necessaries, hundreds of thousands without common comforts, sir.
Are there no prisons?
There are plenty of prisons.
The union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. Still, I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then?
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear it. From what you'd said at first, I thought something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. Good afternoon.
Under the impression that they hardly furnish any kind of Christian cheer or comfort to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund for the poor, to buy them some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for, sir?
Nothing.
Ah, you wish to remain anonymous.
I wish to be left alone. Now, you asked me what I wish for, and that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I give to the establishments I mentioned. They cost enough. Those who are badly off, well, they must go there.
Well, many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they'd be like to die, then they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I don't know that.
Well, you might know it, sir.
It is enough for a man to know his own business and not to interfere in other people's. Now, mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon.
Yeah, but sir,
Mrs. Dilber, would you be good enough to show this gentleman out? Shoo, shoo. She should have never let him in here in the first place. You want all day tomorrow, I suppose?
If quite convenient, sir.
No, it's not convenient. And it's not fair. If I were to stop a half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used. I'll be bound. You don't think me ill-used when I pay a full day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
That's a poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. I suppose you must have the whole day tomorrow. You'll just be here all the earlier the next morning. There's another fellow, my clerk. 15 shillings a week. A wife and a family talking about a Merry Christmas. I'll retire to bed.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Ah, humbug.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Saviour was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power as we have gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug.
Oh, Christmas. A humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. What reason have you to be merry? What right have you to be merry? You are poor enough.
Come then, what right have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in a world of fools such as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Christmas.
Uncle,
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way, and let me keep it in mine.
keep it. You don't keep it.
Well, then let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you. Much good's ever done you.
There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. Christmas among the rest. But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year where men and women open their shut-up hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into parlor.
Uncle, come dine with us tomorrow.
Dine with you? Oh, I'll see myself in hell first.
Why, Uncle?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why cannot we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry to see you so resolute. We've never had any quarrel with which I've been a party. But I have made the trial in homage to Christmas, and I intend to keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, a Merry Christmas, Uncle, and a Happy New Year. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
We must be mindful that Scrooge had not bestowed one thought that day upon his deceased partner, Jacob Marley. After all, Marley had died 7 years ago that very night. So it became no small surprise then that Scrooge beheld Marley's face upon his very door. Marley's face. It was not an impenetrable shadow as the other objects in his room, but had a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar.
Jacob Marley? How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Where are we and who are you?
Ask me who I was.
All right, who were you then? You're particular for a shade.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Mann.
No,
You don't believe in me.
no, I don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Well, a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach can make them cheats. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of underdone potato. Why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do, I must, but why do spirits walk the earth? Why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men, and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is this pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full as heavy as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Oh, Jacob Marley. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. A very little permitted to me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere.
7 years dead and traveling all this time.
The whole time. No rest, no peace, incessant torture of remorse. Not to know that no sake of regret can make amends for one's life opportunity misused. Yet such was I. Oh, such was I.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. Why did I walk through crowds of fellow beings with my eyes turned down and never raise them to that blessed star which led the wise men to a poor abode? Were there no poor homes to which his light would have conducted me? Hear me. My time is nearly gone. You have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
Was that the chance you spoke of, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not, yes.
Expect the first. Without that visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tonight when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I just take them all at once and have it over?
Expect the second, the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake. You! Remember what has passed between us.
Jacob, no, Jacob, no, come back, Jacob, come back, Jacob, come back. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Belle,
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
our past?
No, your past.
Well, what business brings you here?
Your welfare, your salvation,
Salvation. A night of unbroken rest would have been much more conducive to that end.
your reclamation then. Take heed, rise, and walk with me.
But I'm mortal. I'm liable to fall.
Does this look familiar?
Yes, I was a boy here.
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Why, it's me. Why, it's Ali Baba, dear old honest Ali Baba, and the Sultan's groom turned upside down by the genie. There he is upon his head. Serves him right. What business had he to be married to the princess?
Why must you stay at school over the holiday?
Oh, my father preferred that I do so. Oh, the parrot! Oh, dear old Robin Crusoe. Where have you been, Robin Crusoe, my boy?
What is the matter?
Oh, nothing. I just wish that I could see my sister Fan, that's all.
Headmaster!
Bring down Master Scrooge's trunk. Good news, Master Scrooge. Your sister Fan has sent for you and you're to be with your family for the holidays. Join me for some cake before you depart us?
If it pleases you, sir.
It most certainly does, Master Scrooge.
Your sister Fan was always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
So she had.
She died, a young woman, and had, as I think, children.
One child.
Fred, your nephew.
Yes.
Indeed. Let's see another Christmas.
Yo ho, Ebenezer! No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Ebenezer. Now, let's have the shutters up. Quick as a man can say, Jack Robinson, hilly ho!
Dear Father, before everyone arrives, Ebenezer and I have something to tell you.
Mr. Fezziwig, I respectfully wish, sir, to ask for your daughter's hand in matrimony.
What took you so long, my boy? You shall have it, and with my blessing.
Belle, you have brought so much joy to my life. Do you consent to make me the happiest man on earth for the rest of my days?
Oh, Ebenezer, yes, of course. Of course I will marry you. Tomorrow shall be my dancing day. I would my true love did so chance to see the legend of my play, to call my true love to my dance, sing, oh my love, oh my love, my love, my love. This have I done for my true love.
Then was I born of a virgin pure, of her I took fleshly substance. Thus was I knit to man's nature, to call my true love to my dance. Sing low, my love, oh my love, my love, my love. This have I done for my true love.
You must promise to take very good care of my daughter. And Belle, I wish you and Ebenezer all the happiness Mrs. Fezziwig and I had. Wassail and wassail all over the town. The carpet is white and the ale it is brown. The carpet is made of the good ashen tree, and so is the malt of the best barley. For it's your wassail and it's our wassail, and it's joy be to you, and a jolly wassail. Wassail!
My time grows short. Quick. Behold, another Christmas Eve, and the pressure of business. Do you remember? A man in the prime of life. His face has not the harsh lines of later years, but it has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. You will notice the eager, greedy, restless motion in his eye that shows the passion that has taken root, and where the shadow of the growing tree will fall. Darling,
Well, my work and the time of year, 'tis important I use my time wisely.
it matters little. To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in the time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
And what idol has displaced you?
A golden one?
This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion, gain, engrosses you, have I not?
And what then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I'm not changed towards you, am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when you and I were both poor and content to be so, until in good season we could improve our worldly fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you that you are not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is now fraught with misery now that we are two. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words? No, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? A dowerless girl, whose mother and father have died with nothing but myself to bring to the marriage? Ah, no.
You think not.
I would gladly think otherwise if I could, heaven knows. But a dowerless girl, you who weighs everything by gain, do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were. You may, the memory of what is past half makes me hope you will have pain in this. A very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it as an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Go after her. Oh, Spirit, why do you delight to torture me? Remove me from this place.
Ebenezer Scrooge. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. Have you never seen the like of me before?
Never.
Have you never walked forth with the younger members of my family, my elder brothers and sisters born in these later years?
I don't think I have. No, I haven't, Spirit. Have you many brothers and sisters?
More than 1,800.
Oh, that's a tremendous family to provide for. Spirit, I went forth last night on compulsion, and I'm learning a lesson that's working on me still. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Oh, come, little children, oh, come, one and all, to Bethlehem stable in Bethlehem stall, and see with rejoicing this glorious sight. Our Father in heaven has sent us this night. Father, do you think the people in the church see that I'm a cripple?
Why do you ask that, son?
Maybe I'll remind them who made lame beggars walk and blind man see.
Beautiful son.
And how did little Tim do?
Oh, as good as gold, and better. Somehow he gets so thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and he says the strangest things you've ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped the people in church saw him because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant for them upon Christmas Day to remember who it was that made lame beggars walk and blind men see. Oh, I believe he's getting stronger every day, my dear.
Yes, Bob. I'm sure he is.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, no. No, kind Spirit. Say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered, none other of my race will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Oh, my own words.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight, at midnight. Hark! The time draws near.
I'm in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You're about to show me things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen, but as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to be another man from what I was, I'm prepared to bear your company, and to do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Oh, lead on, Spirit, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it's precious time to me. Lead on.
Look here, old Joe, here's a chance. If we haven't met here without meaning it.
We couldn't have met in a better place.
Every person has a right to take care of themselves. They always did.
Oh, indeed he did.
Very well then. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose. If he wanted to keep 'em after he was dead, the wicked old screw, why, wasn't it natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death. Instead of lying, gasping out his last there alone by himself. Open that bundle, old Joe. Let me know the value of it.
I'll give you 6 shillings for 'em. What do you call this then? Bed curtains?
Bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took him down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Yeah, I do. Why not?
Oh, you were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
I certainly shan't hold me hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out for the sake of such a man as he was. I promise you, Joe. Don't drop that oil upon the blankets now.
His blankets?
Who else, sister, you think? He ain't likely to take cold without him, I dare say.
He wasn't dying of anything catching, eh?
Don't you be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. You may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find an hole in it nor threadbare place. It's the best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What you call the wasting of it?
Putting it on him to be buried in. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything. It's quite as becoming to the body. He can't look uglier than he did in that one.
Well, there's your account, and I wouldn't give you another sixpence if I was to be bald for not doing it. I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. So I ruined myself.
This is the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
We are quite ruined.
No, there is hope yet, Carolyn.
If he relents, there is. Nothing is past hope, if such a miracle has happened.
He's past relenting. He's dead. What the half-drunken housekeeper, whom I told you of last night, said to me when I tried to see him and obtain a week's delay, and what I thought was a mere excuse to avoid me after we saw each other on the street, and he asked for his money, turns out to have been quite true. He's not only ill, but dying, trying to collect to the very last. The old
To whom will the
miser.
debt be transferred?
I don't know. It would be bad fortune indeed to find such merciless a creditor and his successor. But we may sleep tonight with light hearts, Carolyn.
Vance brooch and my house clothes. Were they talking about me, Spirit? Oh, let me see some tenderness connected with the death.
You are late, Robert. I was getting worried about you. Shh. The children are all in bed. Good job, Robert. You went today then, Robert, to the cemetery?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see what a green place it is. But you'll go there often. I promised him I'd go there on a Sunday. My little child. My little child. Why, ran into Mr. Scrooge's nephew on the street today, and how extraordinarily kind he was. For he told me I looked a little down, and when I told him, he said, "I'm heartily sorry for your loss, Mr. Cratchit, and heartily sorry for your good wife. If I can be of service to you in any way," and he gave me his card. "That is where I live. Pray come to me." It's as if he knew our Tiny Tim and felt with us. But however and whenever we part from one another, I am sure that none of us will soon forget poor Tiny Tim, and this that was the first parting among us.
And I know, my dear, that when we recollect how patient and mild he was, although he was a little child. We shall not then quarrel easily among ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing it.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
I ask for tenderness and you show me this? Oh, Spirit, something tells me our parting moment's at hand. I know it, I know not how. Let me behold what I shall be in days to come.
We are gathered here to celebrate the life of Ebenezer Scrooge, who has gone to his home in What can be said about the life of a man who worshipped money while commoners starved and children begged for morsels in the street? My friends, do not lay up for yourselves treasures here on earth like that of Scrooge, where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
Men's courses foreshadow certain ends, to which if persevered in they must lead. But if those shadows be departed from, the ends will change. Say it thus with what you show me. Before I draw closer to that stone, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or the shadows of things that may be only? Oh, say it thus with what you show me. Oh no, no, Spirit, I'm not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been but for this intercourse. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? I may yet change these things by an altered life. I will keep Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past and in the present and the future, and the Spirit, all three shall strive within me. I won't shut them out. I won't shut out the lessons they teach. Oh, please, tell me that I may yet sponge away the writing on this stone. Please, please.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong verily the skies riv with angels singing. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis.
I'm alive. I'm in my own room. Oh, I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The Spirit of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob, heaven in Christmas time, be praised for this. I say it on my knees, oh Jacob, on my knees. The shadows of things that would have been may be dispelled. I know they will. I know they will. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm as happy as an angel. Merry as a schoolboy. Giddy as a drunken man. Oh, a Merry Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year to all the world. Oh, I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't even know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby.
Never mind, I'd rather be a baby. Oh, Merry Christmas to all the world.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hello there, my fine fellow.
Hello.
Do you know what day today is?
Today? Why Christmas Day?
Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. The spirits can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow.
Hello.
Do you know the Poulter's shop at the next street at the corner? Do you know if they've sold that prize turkey that's hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, the big one.
What? The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there right now.
Oh, go and buy it and tell the man to put it on my bill and take it to 420 Marbury Road. Oh, don't say who sends it.
Walker.
No, I'll give you half a crown. Good morning, sir, and a Merry Christmas to you. Oh, I hope you were successful yesterday. That was very kind of you, very kind indeed.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that's my name, and I fear it may not be a pleasant one to you, but allow me to ask your pardon, and would you be good enough to put me down for, say, 15 crowns?
Oh, bless me, Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Yes, and there are a great many back payments included in that, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Mr. Scrooge, thank you. Many will have the joys of Christmas thanks to you.
Yes, and there's plenty more where that came from.
Scrooge went to church and walked about the streets and watched the people hurrying to and fro and patted small children on the head and questioned beggars and looked down into the kitchens of houses and up to the windows and found that everything could yield him pleasure. Scrooge had never thought that any walk, that anything could bring him so much happiness. Next, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house.
Fred, may I come in? May I come to dinner? Oh, these are for you.
Well, Uncle, let you come to dinner? Thank you so much for the gifts. Yes, of course, please join us for dinner. Everyone will be delighted to see you. Well, come along, Lily has a place set for you.
Is this 420 Mulberry
Yes,
Lane?
it is. May I help you?
This is for you, ma'am.
Oh, no, there must be some mistake.
A gentleman wishes you to have this.
But we cannot afford such extravagance.
You are Mrs. Cratchit.
Yes, I am, but
He wishes for this to be yours.
who sends it?
He wishes to remain anonymous.
Please tell him we are most grateful. Thank you, and God bless you.
You're welcome.
Bob!
It was a blessed Christmas for Scrooge and his nephew's family. The Cratchits sat down to as good a feast as they had had in many a year. Scrooge had rewarded the gentleman seeking alms with the promise, there's plenty more where that came from. Had the pecuniary, parsimonious old codger become a man of the people? The next morning would bring truth to all this, for Bob Cratchit had proved to be a full 18.5 minutes behind his time.
Hello? What do you mean by coming in here at this hour of the day?
I am a bit behind my time, sir.
You are. Yes, you are.
I'm sorry, sir. It shall not be repeated again. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Step this way, sir, if you please. Now, I'm not going to stand for this any longer. So, and so, I'm about to raise your salary. Oh, a Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I've been able to give you in many a year. I will raise your salary and endeavor to help your struggling family, and we'll talk about it today over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Merry Christmas, Bob! Merry Christmas!
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, as good a man as any in the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. He had no further interaction with spirits, but it was always said of him he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive had the knowledge. And may that be said of all of us. All of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
I had a dual role in this, and not only in directing a theater production, but directing a television production and somehow intermingling the two. And then to be blessed with playing the character of Scrooge and having to literally interface with a virtual character live on stage, that has never been done before. I think the most fascinating thing to me was to talk to the theater people, and I'll talk about Little Theater in a minute. Talk to the theater people and try to explain what I wanted to do, and they would nod their head and say, okay, but I could tell they didn't clearly understand. But then what was more remarkable, the lighting crew and assistant director of photography who work on House of Cards and Walking Dead, explaining to them what I was doing, they had no clue either. So, and nobody, even in New York, could fathom trying to put these live elements together. But COVID did it. And I'm blessed to work at the Little Theater of Alexandria. I've been here 37 years. And the fact that they had the confidence in me to put these disparate things together into a production is a true blessing in my life. If I've always looked for something nobody's ever done before, and this definitely represents one of those things.
It's such a tradition here at LTA to do a Christmas Carol. And so thinking, even during a time of COVID, of not doing a Christmas Carol, it was almost not even an option, but finding the right version of the Christmas Carol and being able to generate some excitement in the city for our version of a Christmas Carol. We didn't know what we were going to find. We didn't know how we were going to find it. We read a lot of scripts. And ultimately, we turned to the person that we thought knew a Christmas Carol better than anyone. That's Mike Baker. It's funny, when we started pursuing an idea of live theater, probably back in May, I put together a plan that called for limited live theater. The idea behind it was not to make money. We're losing money hand over fist right now. It was to make sure people remembered what live theater was about, so that one day when we're not dealing with COVID, people will come back.